What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Journey with Jazz. Y'all, I'll be completely honest, I have been procrastinating this video and just stalling because of the topic. As you can see, I resigned from being a prosecutor and I'm now a full-time entrepreneur. I have a testimony ultimately, and what I experienced is not just for me, it's for somebody else. I took the bar exam in February of this year. And then right after I took the bar exam, I started working for legal aid March 1st. And then I got my bar results on April 13th. I did pass the Virginia bar exam. And then immediately, I got an offer to work at the prosecutor's office. I remember when I was at legal aid, writing notes to myself about my experience there and just how impactful I felt. I wasn't a licensed attorney yet. I was basically handling matters that I could handle without being licensed, but being able to work with people, being able to advocate for clients. I remember I taped it in my desk and I was just like, you're making an impact here. You're supposed to be here. When you get your bar results, it doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter how much money they're paying. You need to know that you're supposed to be here. Okay. So guys, the day of getting my bar results, I received a call. Someone from the office reached out to me and pretty much offered me the job. And I just felt like, this is God. This is God. I'm supposed to do this. I already declared that I was going to be a prosecutor and this is my chance. And I'll be completely 100% honest, I moved really quick. I'm just gonna say it. You know how you really want to do something? And so your prayer is more like, Lord, I know this is you. God, thank you for this opportunity. Lord, I'm just gonna do it. Okay, go ahead. I knew what I said about legal aid. I knew that at that particular time I was supposed to be there. And maybe I will return, at some point. But I still did it. But let's get to the root of it, right? Why did I want to be a prosecutor? Because at legal aid, I would have been going to court. I would have been advocating for people. I would have been advocating the rights of people whose voice has not been heard, people who aren't, the small tenant going against the big landlord or the small consumer going against the big company or business. At legal aid, I still would have been in a courtroom. I still would have been advocating for clients, and almost in a more powerful way, just because it's the people, it's our people. They come from low income communities. They deal with societal barriers and financial barriers and educational barriers that other people don't. And so it would have just been a powerful way, right? And so I just convinced myself that I would be a victim advocate through domestic violence, being a domestic violence attorney, being a domestic violence prosecutor, transitioning to my experience as a DV prosecutor. I was advocating for women who were victims of domestic violence. I think I want to emphasize that it was a lot of hard work. I was often taking work home, but I was sold out for it. I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't going to quit. No matter how hard it got, I made up in my mind, this is what I'm doing. So I was licensed as an attorney on April 13th. That's when I received the great news that I passed the bar. And right after that, I registered with the Virginia State Bar. I had to send my swearing-in card to the Supreme Court. It was just steps. And attorneys, y'all know, it was just steps that you have to take after you receive your license. The State Bar didn't receive something that I sent in. And so it got back to my employer. And I was trying to rectify the situation. I was trying to figure out what it is that they did get, what they didn't get, so I could just rectify it. And I didn't have the time to rectify it. It kind of backfired on me, where I was put in a position where it's like, you can either resign or we're gonna have to fire you, because you have to get all this stuff in order with the State Bar before, you're litigating cases. I was very hurt, guys. I was just so hurt because I felt like, how you just feel like you're just sold out for something and loyal to something, and it's like, when you realize it's not the same, Like in a relationship, you can go all out and above for somebody, do this, buy them this, work overtime, making sure that they're happy and they're pleased. But then if you make a mistake, or if there's a misunderstanding, if the person is just like, all right, cutting you off, we done. The first thing you're thinking is like, wow, I've given you all this time and all this energy and effort, and I'm bound to this relationship. I'm using the analogy, and it was just easy to just cut all ties. You know, that would be painful because of what you put in. That's just the way of the world. Like, I guess another way to put it is corporate America, right? It's just, there's not that grace given just because you're held to a higher standard now. I went through a period where I felt very sad and hurt, crying, honestly crying daily because I was attached to the job. I think that's the root of it, because of the time and work and effort that I put into it. I had my highs and my lows while I was there, but I was committed to it and I was kind of attached to it, and I seen a future there, and so all of that was taken away from me in one day. My time of being home, trying to figure out what was next, was a very painful process. So just picture a parent and a the child is running around the house, over here, messing with toys, messing with crayons and markers, messing with puzzles. Then they go onto the dogs, playing with the dog, and they're running around and running around and running around. Then boom, something happens and they fall to the ground, right? They run into something, they hit their head. Parents, y'all know, this happens all the time, and something happens, and then, you know, they're crying. And the parent is saying, okay, let me sit you down. Let me sit you down, because the way that you were moving is not working. The way that you're going to this and this and this, and you're busy and you don't have time for anything, and you're not able to listen to me as your parent. You're not able to follow my instructions as your parent. You're not even coming to me and getting guidance from me as your parent, right? Now you're hurt. Now, you know, something blindsided you and knocked you down. And so I'm gonna sit you down now. That's exactly what happens. As a prosecutor, working long hours, taking cases on vacation with me, always feeling behind, always feeling stressed. But it's gonna get better. That's what I kept telling myself. I just gotta get used to it. I just gotta get adjusted. Practical representation of moving so fast you're not paying enough attention. Looking back, when I received notice that there was any type of misunderstandings with my paperwork in the state bar, that should have been first. And by the way, I was still authorized to practice because I passed the bar and I was in good standing with the state bar, and I had that in writing. So I was authorized to practice the entire time, but still, your name and your information being on file for the bar is very important. You know, that situation was like me just boom, I had to get smacked in the face, and then I had to sit down, and God sat me down like a child, and I was hurt. I felt betrayed. I was like, I am giving all these hours to this office, and I'm left with nothing. It's almost like running to your father's arms and just giving him everything. Lord, this hurts. God, I feel betrayed. Lord, this person I feel like should have done this differently, and I don't like how they handled me. And I feel like I deserve better than this, and I don't like how I'm being portrayed, and I feel like people are talking about me. I feel like there are rumors and people think that I'm not even authorized to practice, and God, I need to go and I need to fix all of this. And God said, no, sit still. I had to literally just trust him with everything. I had to trust him with my reputation, and trust him that he was going to protect me, and trust him that he would defend me in his own way, defend my name, or place people in positions that would defend my name. And I even reached out to people and said, you know what, I loved working with you. Thank you for being a mentor. Thank you for showing me things, because there were people at the prosecutor's office that were great, y'all. Like my mentor, they, you know, showed me the ropes. They watched me in trials and gave me corrections. They checked on me. There were a lot of people who did that there. And so I went back and just said, thank you. I mean, I didn't expect this to be so short-lived, but I appreciate you. And it was because God was just, it was only him that was doing it. Like he was allowing me to show grace to people and just allowing me to think about the good stuff and go back and say something and bless people, bless them. The Bible says, bless those who curse you. And that's literally what I was doing. Bless you, bless you. I wish the best for you, okay? I'm not gonna be alongside of you, but I still bless you. I had to just process that. And I had to let go on a daily basis and release the situation and release people. And that's how I did it. I'm spending all this time with God and I'm just in his presence daily. And I'm listening to worship music, I'm reading my Bible. I didn't really spend that good time with the Lord for years, right? Because it was always something to do and somewhere to be. So I finally was able to sit still and not rush to something and just listen. That had to be removed from me so that I could sit still. Almost wanting to go back to that time of just me and the Lord and not having to produce and not having to do a whole bunch of stuff and check all this stuff off a list, but just sit still and just commune with him and talk, vent about things that were hurting me and that I was processing. And so I did apply for a few positions and I wasn't really committed to taking either one of them because of what I just experienced, and it seems like I was going to go into something similar again. My husband actually, he planted the seed of me being a full-time entrepreneur. And it's because he sat back and watched how stressed I was, and he sat back and just watched how much I was working for somebody else. And it's just like, wait a minute, if you're going to work that hard and put that much into what you're doing, you might as well just work for yourself. And it was weird because when I think about myself as a solo practitioner or having my own law practice, it's so scary. Like, it's just like, no. Like, it's just so threatening. But why? I'm a licensed attorney. I've had the skills and the training. Whatever else there is that I need to know, God will show me, right? He will send me people and he will send me resources and he'll give me whatever I need. And I just praise God for my husband because he used him powerfully during this time when I was down and discouraged. First, it was like, no, you're tripping. Like, that's too far. I need something stable right now, and then later I will do this. But guys, think about it. Why wait later to start building a business, right? Like, businesses take years to develop. They take years to get momentum and to strengthen. Just like relationships, just like everything. It takes time. And so we wait years and years and years to just start. It's like, why not at least start, right? The Lord said, look at your hands. You already have so many things in your hands that you can do and that you're an expert at and that you have experience in. What are you doing with what I've already given you? You're going out on Indeed and applying for all these random jobs to work for people and support their vision when I've already given you a vision. You were at this office, you had time for nothing. All the things that I downloaded in your spirit, all the things that you've been building, all the visions that I've given you, the seeds that I planted, the people that you've impacted. You didn't have time for any of that. Now you have a moment to take a step back and reassess. And so the Lord is just like, yes, you're a lawyer. Yes, you're going to be practicing law. Yes, you're going to be in a courtroom. Yes. But right now, what do you have in your hand and what can you do? And that's when I just was like, whoa, my mind was blown. It's crazy because I tell my girls and King's daughters, sometimes you just have to get back to the basics. Back to the basics. Spending time with the Lord every single day in the morning. Start with a scripture. Vent to the Lord. Pray. Sing songs of worship. Things that I was doing as a routine freely, I had gotten away from because of how busy I was. And God's just like, get back to the basics. I need this to be your foundation because it's a firm foundation. You don't have to start something new right now. You can just keep building what you already have and watch how I provide for you. I took that quiet time that I needed. I looked at what was in my hand and realized I had so many things that I could do with what I have, so many skills and experiences, a connect and network of people, as clients for my business. And so if you haven't already, connect with Brand Better with Jazz because I'm helping people build their brands by focusing on their digital marketing and expanding their reach. So That's something that I'm absolutely passionate about. Like, I get up every day and I'm so excited for my consultations. I'm so excited to meet with people. I'm so excited to work and put out content and to make graphics, and I'm doing what I love. I'm getting paid to do what I love, and it took for me to be put in that position to be stripped of what I was doing and what I was working on. And I was in the fast track to be, prosecutor of the year and to, work my way up, and it would have been great, but I would not have been able to flourish in my gifts the way that I am now. God has been providing ever since I've taken this entrepreneurial journey. I've had plenty of clients, guys. I have an office space. Oh, Jesus, I can't even talk. To God be the glory. I have an office space, y'all. It takes people forever to get some of the stuff that God just handed to me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's how you know. This is what I want you to do. This is where I have you. This is where you flourish. This is your lane. I'm in my lane. And I'm flourishing in my lane. I have freedom. I have freedom because ultimately I want to live a life of freedom. I don't want to be hustling and bustling everywhere. I don't want to be worried about, oh my gosh, is this on time? Is this, and just so stressed on a daily basis. I no longer have to succumb to that, and it's only by the grace of God. It's only because of the situation that was so painful for me, the situation that was unbearable that I did not understand at that time. And the way that God has turned it around for his glory. Glory be to God. And sometimes it takes that strip of things that we don't need, and it takes for him to sit us down so that we can hear him and spend time with him and actually assess ourselves. What are we doing wrong? What are some bad habits that we picked up on that we really can't see? It takes for us to sit down and really spend time with the Lord to be able to see. And are we where we're supposed to be? Sometimes we're not where we're supposed to be, and things aren't working out because we're not supposed to be there. All of those things, have been kind of the highlight of this journey. So I got a testimony. The Lord is faithful. And sometimes we go through some hard stuff. Sometimes we just don't understand. Sometimes our circumstances are uncertain. Because I went through all this while we're about to close on our house. And even with that, God provided. He provided. He made a way. And just shout out to my husband, because our minds in certain situations match. The way that he thinks is different from me, and it's like we need each other in certain situations to really press through. So glory be to God. Guys, make sure you go follow my business page, Brand Better with Jazz. I am on Instagram and Facebook, and my website is listed below. Go ahead and click the link in the description box and just stay tuned for more content. Say hi.
Hi.